With Facebook's continued growth as a business platform, the Facebook fan has become tremendously valuable. The problem, however, is understanding the fan's intent. How engaged are they? What do they want from a brand? And many other questions arise as companies try to discern this behavior. Well, GutCheck is one company that hopes to solve this dilemma. The company debuted at Demo last year and won for its ability to make this consumer research affordable for companies. And Matt Warta, the company's CEO, is joining us right now by way of Skype to talk more about the service and the concept behind it. Thanks for being with us today, Matt.
Great to be here, Abby. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, for starters, let's talk about this predicament that so many brands find themselves in with just trying to figure out how engaged their fans are on social media websites. How big of a problem is this for them?
Yeah, I think we're kind of seeing this across the board. Social media and social media marketing is kind of the shiny object in the room where, and it's really been interesting to see these social media platforms like Buddy Media and others gain prominence on the marketer's desktop, because that's been really kind of hard to do over time. But I think it gives us all a sense of just the opportunity that people see within social media. But the way these guys like Buddy Media and others are kind of gaining that landscape is they're trying to make sense of what a like means for folks, what a 140-character tweet means for a marketer, and they're trying to kind of codify what all that is. And I think today it lives at a kind of a super high level, and in fact, I don't think the insights there aren't all that deep. I mean, by definition, most of them are 140 characters long, so they live at a very high level. So I think a lot of these marketers are struggling with, okay, what do I do with this information?
Right, and now before we get into some of the specifics, I want to really understand GutCheck's role in this area and how it helps brands with this area.
Sure. Yeah, so GutCheck, what we do is we're able to connect our customers, which tend to be marketers, researchers, agencies, etc., with a target audience in a matter of minutes so they can get consumer insights they need, whether it's on an advertising campaign, a new product launch that they have, or something like that. And unlike traditional ways of getting that consumer feedback, like focus groups or one-on-one interviews, or even quantitative surveys, we can get that feedback typically in a matter of minutes so that our constituent, our customer base can make decisions in real time versus waiting weeks. And I think especially in an environment where you have social media, where you've got this fire hose of real-time data coming in, you need research methodologies like GutCheck that more fit with the real-time information they're coming in at that high level.
Absolutely. So are you referring to the instant research communities that GutCheck launched earlier this year with the real-time feedback? Is that what you're referring to, or is this something separate?
Yeah, thank you for that clarifying question. We really have two products today that allow our customers to get that real-time feedback. One is a one-on-one tool, and that allows our customers to come in and recruit individuals one-on-one and really have an in-depth conversation with them, which is anonymous. And it really allows our respondents to kind of open up and give the researchers or the marketers the information they need. But sometimes our clients want to interact with a group of individuals in a much more social setting, and that's where our instant research communities come in. Both of them rely on the same automated recruitment platform that we perfected, which is able to go out and find very specific respondents at a moment's notice, so that they can interact with our clients, the marketers and the researchers, et cetera.
That's really, really interesting. Well, can you share any examples with us for how brands have really used this?
Yeah, for sure. I think one really cool example on the social media front specifically is that let's kind of go back to this kind of Buddy Media situation, or Radiant 6 for just kind of as a couple of examples, where some of our clients will use those platforms to come up with sentiment. And that sentiment is usually living at a real high level. And so one of our agency clients in this case was doing some work on behalf of a big consumer packaged goods company. And this consumer packaged goods company wanted to build a website that catered to mothers that had to develop a recipe for cooking dinner for their families. And they went out and primarily through listening to tweets, they were able to discern there was a few key things that were really important to these mothers while they were preparing for their meals. But they lived at a real high level. You know, one of them was inspiration. They needed inspiration to come up with a cool recipe for their family. And, you know, what do you do with that? What do you do with inspiration? Well, what you're able to do with it on the GutCheck platform is, one, be able to discern whether that's signal or noise. As we know with social media, there's a lot of noise wrapped around signal sometimes. And by our ability to recruit very specific audiences, one, our clients can see if there is any connection with inspiration in that specific target audience. And if there is connection, what does inspiration mean to them? And one cool example that came out of this, and this was probably 12 months before this specific site took off, which was Pinterest was a site that a lot of people were using for inspiration. And before they had gotten on GutCheck, they had no clue what Pinterest was. So that's a really cool example how somebody heard some sentiment at a real high level, came on our platform, found a very specific target audience, and figured out what that sentiment really meant, and was then able to do something actionable with it.
Right. So just in summary, you're saying that basically brands can know what their fans are thinking, know what the comments, likes, and tweets actually mean, and really be able to discern between the good signals and then just the random noise all through GutCheck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And there's a little trial and error, of course.
Of course.
Sometimes you're going to go out and you're going to have a hypothesis in terms of what you think people are saying in your target audience, right? And you're going to come in, interview your target audience, and say, "Does this matter to you all?" And they might say, "No, never thought about it." But in that case, you can figure out that was just a lot of noise around kind of a signal that you thought was out there, which might be even more important because instead of going down some rabbit hole because you thought something was going on over here, you're able to kind of disprove that hypothesis.
Right. That's really interesting. Well, there are other tools for this type of research, but what is it that really makes GutCheck so different from the other options?
Well, give me an example of what those other options are out there.
That's a good question. I'm talking like Radian 6, ones like those. I mean, I know that they monitor social media, but are you saying that basically the ones that actually track the research, there is nothing else like GutCheck?
Yeah, no, so at a high level, we're very complementary to a Radian 6 or a Buddy Media or any of those kind of platforms. And what we allow their customers to do is go much deeper with the insight that they're gaining for them. So because all those folks, I think, kind of live at a very high level, like we started the conversation in terms of, here's how many likes you get. Here's what people are tweeting about. Here's kind of that high-level sentiment, right? But we're able to then allow them to take that sentiment much deeper in real time. And I think when you're talking about that transition from the high level to actually, what does this mean and is it actionable? There's nobody else out there that can do what we do in the amount of time that we do it and at the price point that we have.
Well, on that note, just how affordable is it? If you could talk a little bit about the price points here.
Yeah, it's really going to kind of depend on what you're trying to do, how many people you want to interview. But when we compare ourselves to kind of traditional research methods, we're often an order of magnitude less. And certainly from a timing perspective, we measure our ability to get insights in minutes, whereas most research methodologies out there measure their ability to get insights in weeks, if not months.
Absolutely. All right, and lastly, I have to ask, I love the name, but I have a feeling that there is a story behind it. Am I right?
Yeah, there is a bit of a story behind it. And actually, I've got a co-partner in crime on this, like most good startups do. And his name is Carl Rosso, and he's really kind of the brains and the vision behind GutCheck. And this is kind of one of those things where we were in a conference room and kind of brainstorming on kind of the name for the company. And I think we all thought that, we wanted to get something that was a bit away from more kind of a research kind of methodological kind of name and really speak to what this is, which is a gut check. It's, kind of the ability to answer those hundreds of questions that typically would go unanswered because, again, kind of price point and timing. And we came up with GutCheck. And like a good research firm, we went out and tested that name against others. And actually, GutCheck didn't perform all that well. But, we kind of felt we knew where kind of the market was going in terms of needing more of a kind of a gut check like this. So, every once in a while, I think it's good to get the research there. But sometimes you do need to go with your gut after you get those kind of initial insights.
Right. Well, it's definitely intriguing, and I'm sure will attract a lot of attention. Thank you so much for talking with us today, Matt. We appreciate it, and good luck with GutCheck.
Thanks so much, Abby. It was a lot of fun.
You're very welcome. And if you'd like more information on GutCheck and its market research methods, visit gutcheckit.com. I'm Abby Johnson reporting for WebPro News.